Hey, good day, everybody. Still here for the Daily Market Pulse. This is a Monday, July 14th. We have stocks higher, indexes higher, but in mixed volume. NASDAQ volume was up, the rest was down. I'm leaving this under pressure for the time being, but this may, in fact, be erased with the Dow Jones hitting a new intraday all-time high before settling a little bit lower than that high. Not closing at an all-time high, so nonetheless, good numbers, good patterns, good sights. There's the Dow Jones. There's the new high. There's the close, 17,055. So looking pretty good, looking pretty strong. Still looking for the upside with a rising window today that shows continuation with room in the stochastic. So whatever pressure we were under may in fact be gone, but we have to clear this level, in my opinion, still. S&P rising window as well above the 8 moving average, not quite at the highs, not at the Bollinger Band, with room to 2,000. That still remains. NASDAQ, a rising window with a doji formation at the old window, with room still much higher into 4,500 yet still. TSX holding the 20, holding the 8 moving average reasonably well, doing a flagging like formation, still looking for higher levels here as well. The DAX bounced reasonably well from 9,600 even last week, but certainly on a separating line today, 9,700 plus into the next moving average. That's a 50% retracement higher from where it was before. That's a good strong move there. US dollar, Canadian dollar, after the nice solid bounce that occurred on Friday, a little bit of a retracement, which is not to expect. A little bit of a polarity at 107, but that's kind of holding for the time being right there. So a slight downside there. Euro US actually is coming up through 136, still kind of flagging, kind of caught between moving averages, but still looking a little bit neutral to bullish. The treasuries got rejected just off the 138, just somewhere in the 137 range. Could not quite get past that last pivot area. Back to a polarity of sorts, just below 137. Or right at 137 for that matter, with room to the downside if they choose to continue it down that way. Japanese yen can't quite get into 99 or higher still, but holding at least above the rising moving averages. So it still looks like an overall pattern that could certainly drive higher. Gold flushed aggressively. We don't see it, but there's a very large red candle back toward the 20-day moving average. It was quite a flush there. And that's looking like probably a place to hold for support. And the silver did the same thing, right in at 21 or just barely below 21. On a flush lower as well. Following crude's big decline last week, we saw crude actually bouncing. We don't see it right now, unfortunately, but there's a small green candle that got you into about 101.20, 101.25 or so. There it is right there. Well, actually 101 is what it is. So we dropped a little bit lower, new low after an opening low or lower open, and then it got into the Bollinger Band. So an attempt at a bounce here, but nothing conclusive. It looks like to me, based on the stochastics as well, we're going to see at least a bounce back toward 102, possibly 103. Let's see if that's the case. Natural gas we've not looked at on this for a while, but we did on the weekly version for the weekend, 415. Just holding steady, nothing really earth-shattering there either. If we go to small caps were a big flush leading up to now with a bounce that occurred Thursday. Friday held sideways, gap higher today, and then faded back toward 116 and holding the polarity, but also with a rising window as support immediately below. The VIX had two gaps on Thursday, Friday, and then another gap lower today with a green candle, mind you, but holding 1150 for now. An immediate window and trend line and resistance above the moving average, but right between two moving averages, so it could be neutral to maybe slightly weaker going forward.